Okay, so I was gonna give you an update before I got started. Where I'm at, got covered in the last video, and now I'm on to extending the box in the frame. I stepped a plate that's gonna get set in there, and then like it'll get welded, and the holes will get drilled, circles will get drilled, and the pan-hard bracket to the frame will go on there and look fancy. Get that on there. I cut one of the tubes off. It will have to get modified to go back on. It was in the way. I'll get pan-hard bar put in position and tacked on, and then get the frame welded on, get the frame extension welded on, and that bolted on, and then I can take it all back apart. But the brakes are gonna have to be reconfigured because they were set up to come like out the side, and now that's kind of not gonna work. I'm gonna have to pull it back to where it's on the frame and do a soft line to the rear end, and then the splitter will go side to side, but I can cover that when I get to it. You know, one bridge at a time. But I'm gonna go ahead and start welding this in and get it on the time lapse, and we'll just go from there. All right. So I got the rear end bracket for the pan-hard bar tacked in. Now I can pull everything apart and paint it. And then on putting everything back together, I can adjust it. So I'm gonna switch it to time lapse and start taking all this apart. Okay, so everything's welded up as of right now. I might have to add that step in the frame. I don't want to, but we'll see. For now, it doesn't need it. Turn this off. But now I can get everything ready for paint. And once it's painted, I can do the like final assembly, and then figure out exactly how I'm gonna route the brakes. But I've got all the right there. All the bars are tore down, and they're fairly clean. They'll get wiped down, and I'll pull those bushings out. And then the rear end, I'll pull the wheels off and bag off the wheel part, or the rotor area, and get it all painted. everything's painted. Starting to put everything back together. I was gonna, kind of on a time constraint, because this is my daily driver, and I have a borrowed vehicle, which my borrow time is about to run out. So I need to have this back together as a driver, like dialed to where I can put children in it in the next 2 days. So I just rattle canned everything because I don't have time to. I even bought the paint to paint it, but it's chassis black, that will get used. So I just rattle canned everything up. You know, it's a kind of a junk rear end anyways. Just ran over everything with a primer paint in a can. It's ready to go back together. Still a little bit sticky, so I'm being easy with them. It's kind of like staying in places, touching places that ain't gonna get seen. But in the end, it's all underneath the car. I'm gonna switch it over to time lapse, and we'll try and get all this back together today. Okay, before I was getting started today, I was gonna give an update of where I'm at. So I gotta assemble the bars and the panhard bar and put them on, and then it's all in. And then from there, I have to put the drive shaft back in, modify the exhaust, probably gonna have to modify the e-brake mounts, probably just because they're gonna be in the way of something. The brakes have to be changed up a little bit, and the bed never really fit to the point where all the bolts went in, so I'm gonna modify one hole, and hopefully that makes all the bolts go in. And I run a 96 tank out of an F-150, and so I had to make a gauge work, or make a sending unit work, because the ohms are different, 96 to 77. Because I have a factory 77 gauge. All the gauges are original to the truck, or that era. So I gotta bend that because it still doesn't read quite right, and I'm gonna bend it, and hopefully that gets it closer. But I'm hoping I can knock all that out today, and let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to stop for a second and let you know where I'm at. Everything's in. I did have to raise the coilovers up. I don't know how much of the video is going to show that. I haven't watched it yet. It hits the other exhaust. I'm going to have to cut that off. So they'll just be dumps until I can do the exhaust out the back. So it'll just be more annoying than it already is. But I can move on to the brakes, putting the drive shaft back in, all that jazz. Hooking the e-brake back up, whatever. But I wanted to stop in and let you know before I move on. Here we go. Go ahead and make this traveling video of the test drive of the suspension. I've already got a couple miles on it, so I didn't catch if it fell apart, but I was gonna get some rolling shots. Seems pretty good right now. I ain't got anything to complain about. Actually, even the exhaust isn't that loud. I won't notice it in about a week. I can't hear anyways. But I'm gonna flip it around. Alright, so it drives real smooth.